Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be doing the steering stabilizer job. My steering stabilizer has gotten mighty beat up. It's had a few close encounters with some rocks. It's all bunched up on the end there, and it makes horrible noises when I turn. I don't think it's doing much in the way of stabilizing anymore. So I got a replacement, and I'll show you guys that replacement in just a second. So here it is, rough country stabilizer, Vertex pass-through, the little reservoir there. These ones much more heavy duty, built to handle a load of a larger tire. So I'm going to be going over the install process of this item right here. It's not a difficult install process. So in the box you got the actual stabilizer itself. You got the pass-through bolt it's going to mount to, because it's going to mount in a different location, which is going to put the stabilizer up above the tie rod rather than level with the tie rod, which will keep it up out of the way of rocks. And this is also the anodized aluminum body instead of the steel body that rusts and gets beat up. And also the rod itself is also thicker to handle a bit of a load. And then this right here is the part that's actually going to clamp onto the tie rod, so you're going to remove the factory mounting position as well. And then you also have instructions. We don't need those. Let's get to it. So the first step that we're going to do to remove this factory stabilizer is remove it from here, and then we're also going to remove it from the axle mounting point right back down here. So let's figure out what size this is. So this is an 18 millimeter. We're gonna have to break this free. It's got a flange nut on the back of it, so you don't have to hold anything on the back, but breaking it free is not going to be an easy task. This puppy's been on there for a while. So just keep going until that flange nut on the back, or whatever you want to call it. You got this thing right here. It sticks down and it's going to catch on things for you. So just gotta wait till that catches on something on the other side. That's going to make contact with the bracket. Be in business, and just slowly work it out. This would be a lot easier if you had brake free. I have cans of brake free, but I didn't grab any. They're all the way inside. I ain't got time. Go. Then always retain this hardware. You never know if you might need to use it again or something like that, and it's good hardware. Don't want to throw away good hardware. So now onto the back side down here. You have a nut that holds the steering stabilizer itself onto this bracket attached to the tie rod, and then you also have to remove this bracket that attaches to the tie rod, because we're going to be installing the one that came with the kit. There we go. Should be loose enough now. We can do it by hand. Retain hardware. That's one stabilizer down. Okay, so now we got to remove this bracket. And the nut that's holding on this bracket with this carriage bolt is a 15 millimeter. Put that on there and start loosening this up. Just gonna figure out which way I need to actually go here. Out. Nice little carriage bolt there. So hang on to that. So the next step is to remove your track bar bolt, which is where the new mounting system will mount to. So you have to break this free, which I already did. Now watch as I remove this track bar. The frame of my Jeep is going to shift. So I'm going to get that wing nut out on the back first, because I'll have to prop my legs up on the frame. Okay, wing nut's free. You will need this. Do not throw this away. Grab onto my bumper here a little bit, give myself some space to wiggle that bolt out. So here is the new through bolt for your track bar. That's going to go through there, through your track bar, and attach to The wing nut on the back, check it out. It's the same size. Now, if you're looking at Rough Country's website, it says that you need to have the relocation bar for the track bar, but I'm actually using a adjustable track bar by JKS Manufacturing that came with my lift kit, so I will not be using their relocation bracket for the track bar. It is not needed. You can do it without it. So now, wing nut on the back side here, I'm gonna start twisting this in there. We're just gonna retighten this right back down how it was. Make sure that your track bar is on there good. Get it in as much as you can with your fingers. It's a lot easier than doing it with a wrench, unless you have one of those ratchety wrenches. That makes life easier. And we gotta find the right size. There you go, 22 millimeter. All right, I gotta go return my socket to my neighbor real quick. He's helped me quite a bit with this one. He helped me get the silly bracket off for the stabilizer, and he helped me borrow me this socket so that I could get the track bar socket off, because I don't have a 21 millimeter socket of my own. That's gonna change. So next up we're gonna do is we're gonna be removing all of these off to here, because this is gonna go over your tie rod. Just go ahead and pull all those off, and we'll put that on the tie rod and start to position this. And then this piece right here, you'll need to take this out, loosen it, because this little screw right there is what's going to fit in this groove right here, so it doesn't allow it to slip off the front end of it. So we'll go ahead and start getting this lined up. Another thing you want to do is, what they recommend for center is 4 inches. So we'll need to kind of adjust this a little bit here. There we go. It's about 4 inches. Sorry, the camera's kind of shaking around. It's actually currently attached to my leg. Not the most stable spot for it. So, I've got this mounted on there just to make it a little bit easier. Still got to take out this bottom piece. Set those aside. Eventually my plan is to replace all my shocks with the Vertex shocks. I have a couple buddies that run them on their Jeeps, the adjustable Vertex shocks, and I really like them. And as you guys can tell, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I'm not ashamed of using Rough Country products. I'm going to say that you always get what you pay for. If you're willing to deal with a little bit of hassle, you can make something that's a little bit cheaper than what most people are running work just as well. It gets you on the trail, and that's what I'm concerned with. You're gonna line this up on your tie rod end here. You're gonna push it onto that right there. This up here, line it up. You want it somewhere where it's not going to interfere with the track bar when the track bar comes down. So that's why you're able to adjust this. Now obviously we want the part that says Vertex facing forward so everybody knows. Let's go ahead and get this on there, but don't tighten it down yet because we still got some adjusting to do. Once that's positioned on there, then you can attach the front part here to the bracket. You can leave it a little bit loose so you can still make adjustments if you need to. Make sure that it's going to clear the track bar. Make sure that it's going to clear the tie rod. And then double check your measurements here. Make sure that we're still at about 4 inches, which is about right where we're at. And then you'll tighten everything down. And once you tighten everything down, then we're going to turn it on and we're going to cycle the steering and make sure that everything like go all the way left, all the way driver, make sure that it's not bottomed out, and then go all the way passenger and make sure that it's still not bottomed out. Okay, so the next step is we're going to cycle the steering and make sure that everything lines up. So we have this set to about 4 inches. It's not quite equal on this side, but we're going to see. So we're going to go all the way passenger, then we're going to go all the way driver and make sure that nothing bottoms out on either side. Let's go ahead and do that. Hey, so that's it. That's the full install of that Vertex steering stabilizer. Man, the most difficult part is getting off that factory steering stabilizer tie rod mount. You just got to bend that thing up with a crowbar real good, and you can slip it off the tie rod end over there, cut it off. If you want to remove your tie rods, that's one way to do it. I mean, there's plenty of different ways. It's a pain in the ass no matter what. But once you get that off, this is pretty cake. I mean, not including messing with that tie rod bracket, this probably only took me about 30-40 minutes to do. It won't look like that in the video. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you watching. And then I'll have to do a review of this thing in a later video when I get a chance to drive it around and experience the difference from that crappy stock bent up stabilizer and this new one. I want to feel what it feels like on the trail and on the road, so I can kind of talk about both.
24 hours later.
Hey, I just wanted to jump back into this video, recording on my cell phone while I'm driving home from work. I was planning to do like a review of the steering stabilizer after I had some time to drive it on the road a little bit, had some time to actually get it out on a trail and see how it handles out there. But I feel like I'd be doing the video a disservice to not do the review after just driving it for a little bit and talk about its performance. I don't think that I realized before with my stock steering stabilizer how much bump steer I was experiencing even before I put on oversized tires and a lift kit and stuff like that. Like just riding around the Jeep stock when I first bought it, and like rolling around, sorry, it's noisy, but just rolling around with it when it was stock and driving it like that, just so much of the road was transported into the steering wheel. And now with this Vertex steering stabilizer, I feel like I'm driving a small car, you know? Man, it's amazing. Obviously, I still have some steering things that I got to figure out. My steering wheel is like this, and that's driving straight. I need to fix my alignment, but that's not really related, right? But as far as like the bumps and the little dips in the road and stuff, those aren't making me sway left and right anymore. I just realized it, and that's why I was like, okay, I got to record this right now, and I don't have my camera on me, so I'm recording it on the cell phone. But I was like, wow, I just realized I was driving down the road I drive down every day, and there's all these little dips in it, and just didn't feel my Jeep trying to pull me into a ditch or anything like that. I just went right through it like it wasn't even there, and I was like, oh, that's the steering stabilizer. I never realized what a huge difference something like that would make. So if you're running oversized tires, or if you got a lift kit or something like that, or if you just want a more comfortable ride in your Jeep, you got that solid front axle, you need to get a better steering stabilizer. It makes a world of difference. And there's other ones out there on the market too, you know? I mean, I know there's a lot of people, there's a stigma about rough country. I like rough country, but there's a stigma about rough country and stuff like that. There's other brands out there and stuff, but I highly recommend getting a nice steering stabilizer. The pass-through ones seem to be becoming bigger and bigger and more common and stuff. Man, I've driven on I've only been driving this thing for like 30 minutes, and I'm happy with my purchase. I can't wait to feel like what it feels like on the trail. Yeah. So that's gonna be my review. Thanks for watching, guys.